Alright, so this is probably going to be the last time that I go over the subscription model. For now, I just feel like I got most of my points across in the last video, even if I was sleep deprived and sick. But yeah, I do want to go over some people's points. I also then want to talk about what I believe Kakao Games is planning to do and what we'll probably see them do over the next month or so. And I also want to talk about what I plan to do with ArcheAge if I'm going to keep on playing, and we'll start with that. I am going to continue to play the game for the next 6 months. I'm going to give them the whole 6 months of free time that I'm going to get so they can prove themselves and make drastic changes to the game, but we'll just see what happens. I am going to do my usual content. We'll just do guides, update videos, and other fun stuff, so that'll keep you guys that don't want to play up to date with what's going on with the game. And then at the end of the 6 months, I'm going to put out a video saying whether or not it's worth paying the $10 a month to continue to play ArcheAge, if the game has grown player base wise, or if the player base has gotten smaller, because right now we don't know. We don't know what it's going to turn out to be. My big worry is that we are going to just have a drop off of players and the player base is going to get even smaller. But Kakao Games seem pretty confident that they can build the game back up, so we will just have to see. I'm never going to be happy that they've screwed over current players in favour of new players, but if they can make up for it somehow, then I will credit them for that. And I have seen some people say that, well, it's a new publisher, they can do whatever they want, and that's 100% true, but it is also true that they're screwing over current players in favour of the new ones. And at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to, can they do enough to keep people playing the game, or are we just going to see a big drop off in players? And that's just why I'm being rather critical of it, and I'm a bit worried about the future, but we will again just have to see. In the last video I made a comment with a poll that I made for whether people would keep playing Unchained or not, and it was a pretty even split. I think there was more people in favour of not playing the game, but I am doubtful that half the player base is going to drop the game. I don't know what the number will be, but even if it is half of 50%, that's a really significant number for ArcheAge. So that's what I'm really going to be keeping a close eye on and seeing how the game goes, I guess. So that's where, again, a lot of my worries stem from. But we will just have to see. There's definitely going to be a drop-off, and Kakao Games know this, because there's going to be players in certain countries or living situations where they just can't afford to pay a monthly sub. I know Brazil really gets screwed, and then there's some other countries that just really couldn't afford to pay a monthly sub. So it really sucks for those people. And of course, we're going to have the people who bought multiple accounts and spend hundreds on these accounts that are probably just going to be upset and maybe just quit the game. And whether they come back or not will depend on whether Kakao Games can really step it up, make some big moves with their version of Unchained. And at the end of the day, Kakao Games have a vested interest in making this as successful as possible. So I think what we're going to see is they are going to cater towards newer players. They're probably going to pump a bunch of money into marketing and paying bigger YouTubers and streamers to play the game or do social media posts on the game. And so that, alongside with the 30-day free trial they're giving to anyone that joins, we're probably going to see an initial boost in the first month in December. And of course, there's always the fresh start crowd that don't really stick with the game and just play it for the month or two, and they always come and go whenever a fresh start comes. So we'll see that initial boost there. But what I'll really be telling is the months after that, because I don't know how many other people will stick after the initial 30 days, especially people coming from the big YouTubers and streamers that get paid to play the game for a day or so. We don't know how many of those will stick, so it'll be interesting to see. They're definitely going to have a lot more money to pay people than GimmeGo did, because GimmeGo used to actually sponsor big streams and stuff to come in and play the game whenever there was an expansion, and they'd give them like gear and stuff to play. But again, none of them really sticked, and I think the issue is there's not a foundation of content that appeals to the mass MMO audience in ArcheAge, and I also think we have a situation where it's really hard for new players to get into ArcheAge, because players are so far ahead, and there's no systems in place to make the new player experience a lot more fun and interesting for the new players coming in. So I think we're just going to see players drop off because of that. So I really think they should have added more content and then pump the money into marketing. But I think what we're going to see is just them pump everything into the December update, which in the December update, we're probably just going to get the Dancer Skillset. We're going to get the new dungeon, which is a mythic dungeon. I think I pointed this out in the last video. And we'll have guild halls as well probably come in. So I may do a video going over guild halls in the new dungeon. But the Dancer Skillset I've already got a video on, which most of you have maybe seen. But yeah, I'll try and maybe get something out before the December update comes around. I'm also probably going to do something talking about the kind of stuff that I'd like to see added to ArcheAge, because if there's a time to do it, now would be it. So, I mean, if you guys have ideas for stuff that you'd like to see added to ArcheAge, throw them in the comments and I'll probably pick some of those out as well whenever I make that video. I'll probably get it out before the December update comes around, because I've got nothing better to do other than play Elion. But yeah, my worries are still the same. I do think we're not going to see as many people drop off as people are saying. I think it's a case of a lot of the hardcore players that, you know, are fine pumping a bunch of money into the game are probably going to keep playing. They're probably going to stick around, but you are going to see a drop off. There's going to be some people that stop playing. I don't know how many it's going to be, but we'll see. And like I said in the previous video, I do believe a subscription model is the best for most MMOs, but I do think this came a bit too late. If Unchained would have started out as a subscription model game, that would have been fine. If ArcheAge 2 subscription based, that's fine. I worry this has come too late, but again, I'm going to say this a lot, we'll have to see. That's why I'm going to give them the 6 months, and I'm going to keep you guys up to date and just candidly talk about what I think at the end of those 6 months. So yeah, content for the next 6 months is going to be the same usual stuff, and then I'll give my opinion at the end of those 6 months. And I'm probably going to also look at doing a bit more content on other MMOs as well. So I'm going to keep doing stuff on Elion, and then maybe some other MMOs, we'll have to see. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you think. Again, if you have ideas for stuff you'd like to see added to ArcheAge, throw those in the comments, and I'll probably pull a few of those if they're really good for the video. And yeah. So yeah, that's it for this video. So thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video.